Hello out there to anyone listening. This is ORS, Onion Ring Sasquatch at the Movies, and this is your boy Greg. I go by my handle G Money Clip. With me, as always, is Commando Cody, the warrior of the wasteland, the Ayatollah of rock and rolla. And we're going to try something a little different tonight here. We actually watched a new movie instead of something from 25 years ago. We just got back from watching Halloween 2018.
Super fresh.
Not to be confused with Halloween 1978 or Halloween 1998.
Or Halloween Water.
Halloween Water, H2O is I like to call it. So they just decided to call it Halloween. The movie is directed by David Gordon Green, was co-written by Kenny Powers, and Jamie Lee Curtis took a break from bitching about Donald Trump on Twitter long enough to star in a major motion picture for the first time in 3 years. So, Cody, what did you think of Halloween?
Man, can I just say it's kind of weird. It's gonna go up today. This video is gonna go up today. Feels very fresh. I mean, we were straight fresh from the movie theater.
Yeah, the movie just ended about an hour ago,
yeah,
and we're sitting here on the couch talking.
That. What did I think of the movie? I kind of went in with high hopes. I watched the first one with you today.
Mm-hmm. You had really not seen it before.
Yeah, I had not seen it before. I've seen bits and pieces here and there, but I always get it confused with 1 and 2 because AMC would kind of play them together, and I would jump in and jump out. And, a few scenes I recognized from the first one, but not many. Yeah, my hopes are pretty high for this movie. I was hoping for a really good scary movie, but as I've noticed recently, you don't want to get your hopes too high with new scary movies because it seems to be hit or miss, and there's a shit ton of misses. Yeah, it was pretty good. Some of the other reviews are in. IMDb, what do you think IMDb gave it?
Oh, IMDb? I don't know. They always score very high, like when the initial reviews come in, because they tend to have a lot of people who have rated it like a week before the movie comes out. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where they're watching it, but they usually come in pretty high. So it's probably somewhere around what, like an 8 something.
7.9.
Okay.
Rotten Tomatoes sitting at an 82% right now. Metacritic sitting at 66, which I think is a little unfair. I think IMDb is a little high right now. I think a 7 would be good for this. It was enjoyable. I never got bored during it. And if you do go watch this, definitely go watch the first one. There's tons of call-outs. What do you say?
Well, they make it easy because this one is like a retcon of the entire series. They basically say that in this case, you have the original movie from 40 years ago, and there's this movie, and forget anything else you've ever seen that has anything to do with Michael Myers or Halloween. There's nothing else in between that you need to watch, which I kind of like because it cleans it up and keeps it simple. One thing they didn't explain was, okay, spoilers for a movie that's 40 years old, but at the end of the first one, they don't kind of explain how Michael Myers was caught. He just was, and now he's at the mental institution again. We're going to keep this spoiler free, but there are a few things we can talk about during the movie. There are definitely some shout outs, some fan service to anybody who's seen the first movie. A couple of the shots were pretty much identical to the original with a couple little twists.
I'd even say they went back to the same places.
It did seem like some of them, yeah. I'd have to kind of look into filming locations and see if they were around the same area.
The home, school.
Oh, that classroom, yeah, definitely looked like it was. That could have been in the same building, but it's hard to say. Something like that you could do in a set pretty easy. There
wasn't very many plot holes either.
No, they keep it relatively simple. They have Michael Myers escapes, goes on the loose again, and has a killing rampage. Laurie Strode has been waiting for 40 years for him to do such a thing. And the whole point of the movie is, man, we got to get these two together and let them fight it out like Godzilla and Mothra and see what happens.
Yeah, it was more like that was a good comparison. It felt more like a monster movie than a scary movie. A lot of fan service. The soundtrack was pretty original. I was listening to the soundtrack on Spotify. It's on Spotify. The one that he did with his son, and it was kind of the same, but they kind of added in some techno-y kind of stuff.
Yeah, it pretty much sounds. It sounds very similar to the original score, except they kind of pump it up a little bit in some spots, but not to the point of distraction. Not to the point where it's, if you like the original, they've ruined it. It's kind of just enhanced a little bit, which I thought was very good.
Can I complain about something real quick?
Sure.
There's a few times the dialogue and it was just like, what? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it was co-written by Kenny Powers, so you know what. I don't know if any of that was his doing, but yeah, there were a couple spots they went for some little comedy bits. Some of them worked pretty well. There's a kid in there who's pretty darn funny, And then there's, some other spots with, like, there's two cops talking about some stuff, and it's just kind of like, all right, where is this going? Why is this scene in here?
Yeah, there was a scene that I was laughing so hard I was crying. There's some really funny parts in it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it almost feels like it's making fun of the horror genre, which it totally could be, but it was good. There was some good gore too. I didn't see any CG stuff, so I was really happy.
I didn't see anything either. Usually, kind of the trend nowadays is, we'll just CG the blood in because it's cheaper and we can do faster takes because we don't have to clean up blood. In this case, it looks like they went out and did the stuff practically. I don't think there was any kind of CG in the movie. I don't think there would have been much need for it anyway. They did some really good stuff with some of the kills. Some of it, a lot more of it is just kind of, that there are some pretty violent ones, but then there's some others that are kind of just off screen, which is nice too, because it's not all just hack and slash and jump scares. They really do a good job of setting up some suspense parts in the movie.
Yeah. So my biggest complaint with it is another big complaint. There's a lot of shots that were super, super close to the actors, which is fine a few times. Like, I kind of like that. But most of the time I was like, why is the cameraman so close to this person? Like, you build this whole set, this beautiful set of like a high school or something, and all I'm looking at is the actor's face. It just felt like it was just really, really close to the actors and actresses.
So I didn't notice it that much. What I noticed more what they did with the camera is how similar to what they did with Michael Myers in the first one. There are a lot of shots where he's kind of in the background, just a little bit out of focus. And, he'll be walking across or something like that. You know he's there because they've set up that he's there. And when you see him walking, it's like they aren't emphasizing too much on him. But you see him moving and he's there. And, the way they've got him lit in a few scenes with the mask and everything is just really cool. It was really good to see him. You can tell that the people who made the movie really wanted to make a good Halloween movie. They didn't just want to do some cheap slasher knockoff thing, crank it out, and just throw it in the theaters. They really liked the original movie, and they really wanted to do something that would, I don't know, I guess wrap the story up, or do something good that would be kind of a completion of the story.
Yeah, I mean, they could go either way with this one, it feels like. And I've read a few articles online. If this one does well, which I'm sure it will, I think Blumhouse wants to continue.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
Continue with a couple more.
That's the whole point when you spend like a few $1 million on a movie. I mean, what do we see trailer-wise beforehand? Happy Death Day 2. So it's like they're already milking that one again real quick. And I'm sure this is going to make a ton of money, especially this first weekend. And they will find a way to make another sequel out of it. The nice thing about it is, though, it isn't obviously set up for a sequel like so many movies do.
Yeah.
The way it ends, it's like, boom, that's the ending. And that was fine.
Yeah. Either way, it's like they can make another one or this is it.
Yeah, they didn't make it too obvious that, there will be a sequel to this. It was kind of like, boom, it's over. So that's nice. But on the other hand, if they wanted to continue it, they could. I was thinking when we were watching, just trying to imagine the idea of like a 60-something-year-old Michael Myers. 40 years later, Jamie Lee Curtis is pushing 60. So Michael Myers, I think in the credits of the first one, they say he's age 23. So he'd be like 63 years old. And dude, he doesn't act 63. He doesn't seem to have like back problems or knee problems or anything, and he's able to get around like back in the day.
This might be weird, but it kind of reminded me of when I was a kid. You watch these wrestlers, and then you see them come out after like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
They come back. They have graying hair. They're still muscular and well built.
Still doing the same moves.
Yeah,
they're trying to do the same moves.
Portrayed like a badass, and some wrestlers do that really well. I think most wrestlers actually do that pretty well, and I think Michael Myers did it really well too.
I think it's great because having seen some of the sequels, I think the way he moves in the movie, it's like whoever they got to be the guy in the suit really moved very similar to the way Michael Myers moved in the first movie. Like some of the others just didn't kind of walk right or move quite the same. You could always tell there was something a little bit off about him, but the way this guy moves, it's like that's him. As far as plot-wise, I'm trying to figure out what sets him in motion, because, I mean, if you've seen the preview, you got these two guys, two podcasters, a man and a woman, that are going to the mental institution to interview Michael Myers, and it's in the preview.
Podcast.
Yeah. And in the preview, it's like, oh, yeah, we're just going to show him the mask, and everybody starts freaking out. It's like, why would anybody let you do that and try to set off a guy who's been just sitting quietly in an institution for 40 years?
Something else I didn't like. This might be a spoiler. Cut it out if it is, or close your ears if it's kept in here. But the granddaughter is clearly set up to be the next Jamie Lee Curtis, or the mother.
It could be.
I don't like either one of them. I mean, they're okay. They're normal, fine actresses.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to replace her. I know they have to, because Jesus, Jamie Lee Curtis is what, 60?
Almost 60, yeah.
Yeah, 59.
And we get to see Laurie's family, and Laurie has totally turned into.
Wait, can I guess what you're gonna say?
Go for it.
Because I thought exactly what you were gonna say. Sarah Connor.
Sarah Connor,
Yeah.
Terminator 2.
Yep.
Now, there were some little differences. The thing is, when we get to the big confrontation at the end, she's got all the guns and everything like that, but unlike Sarah Connor, she still acts terrified of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
You know, it's like she's pointing the guns, but she's kind of shaking, like she is scared to death of this guy, which is good, because if you see the end of the first movie, she's in a ball crying, you know, at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like all of a sudden she's going to turn into this I'm not scared of anything, especially when confronted with this situation again 40 years later. So that was definitely a very nice character touch. Jamie Lee Curtis did a really nice job in this movie, portraying the same character again after, 20 years basically of not doing it. She kind of jumps back into it. And I haven't seen Halloween Water all the way through, so I'm not sure how her performance in that one compares to her performance in this one. But I think just cutting out all of the other sequels and putting, the first one next to this, I think you can tell it's the same character. It's just,
and we had
she's gone the paranoid.
Right?
We did?
Yeah, we had a really great opportunity. We went and saw a special edition Halloween.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, it was the one with the commentary track.
Oh, I don't think that's a special edition. I think every theater...
That was a part of the movie?
I think every theater that plays this movie is going to have their share of jackasses in the audience who are going to talk through it or, do the standard, why are you going up there? Don't run
go
off in the woods.
Don't go in there.
Oh, my God, you stupid bitch. There's,
You best run.
Yeah, you best run. There's plenty of that stuff. Get up. Oh, my God, get up.
Yeah, if you're listening to this and you ever decide to talk in a movie,
just don't.
Stay home. Rent a movie.
Please don't. Now, our crowd wasn't all that bad. I think the movie's about an hour and 45 minutes, and for the first hour and 15, 20 minutes or so, they were all relatively well behaved. I just shudder to think of watching this packed theater on a Friday night and just the amount of idiots that you'll get in there. What can you do? It's a scary movie. You're going to get that. We had that when we saw It Follows a few years ago, and that had been out for weeks. If you have more than 2 people in the theater you don't know with you, chances are pretty good they're going to be talking to each other. So, kind of is what it is.
And, my thing was this, in particular, was a lady and a guy. They were so loud that we were the front row. We were the front of the top section of the theater. They were at the back. So there was lots of seats in between us, and I could hear them clear as day.
Oh, yeah. Well, they weren't shy about talking.
No, it was very loud.
When they wanted to say something, they made sure everybody in the theater could hear.
And, it's one thing if honestly you do that, and that's seriously how you react to these movies. But I felt more like it was more performance for them. Like, look how funny I am. I talk while movies are playing. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I'm hilarious.
It could be. Those are the
because
kind of
then
people
their
you just
friends would
wanna
laugh
smack.
afterwards, and it's like, that's not... I didn't pay to listen to you.
Like, don't encourage them.
Yeah, I didn't pay to listen to you. Well, we didn't pay.
Well, we work there, so, you know.
It's part of what,
we got to get something out of the deal, We get shit on all the time. We got to get some free movies or something.
Yeah, we didn't come there to listen to your performance as a comedian. This suspenseful scene where you have to yell and interject. As if that is a real thing. At this point, it's just a meme. I really think it's just a meme, and they're like, well, I'm funny. I'm like Kevin Hart. No, you're not. You're just a jackass.
Yeah. Well, we have to act out. That's what people do during scary movies, right? They talk to each other. They yell stuff at the screen. That's what we have to do. So I don't know. Let's see. How about we go to what we liked? I liked that it did a lot of setting up of stuff that was suspenseful. It didn't just rely on jump scares and loud noises. They did a really good job with the characters. You had some disposable ones that, they didn't care much about, but it did take its time kind of getting going, which is good because the first one did that too, before all the crazy stuff started happening.
Yeah.
That was nice to see that they actually bothered to kind of at least attempt to develop some characters. And they followed through. When Michael attacked somebody, there weren't too many miraculous getaways or anything. It was like if he got you, you got. So that was nice.
Yeah.
What I didn't like... The script was a little bit awkward in spots. I still don't understand what exactly people were thinking in trying to reawaken a dormant serial killer from 40 years ago. I don't know what was going through your heads with that. I'm glad you did it, but, that just seems kind of silly. So the relatively minor quibbles. So I think they did a pretty good job with it. I would probably end up giving this, I don't know, IMDb might be a little bit high. I'd say this is probably about a 6.5, maybe a 7.
Yeah.
Maybe. Somewhere around there. Didn't hate it, which is a good sign when you're watching a movie.
Yeah.
So that's
especially a movie like this.
Yeah. So that's always a plus. So what did you think?
Well, I guess I'll start off with the negatives so we can end on a good note. Negatives would, I felt opposite of you. I felt the first one set up really good suspense where like he'd slowly get up, like the Undertaker. The Undertaker copied him. Is what you're telling me.
Yeah, this Michael Myers sit up.
Yeah, but just the sit up, the walking, like when Jamie Lee Curtis is banging on the door and you see him like coming near her, and the fact that It Follows kind of does this too, where he kind of just walks normally, like he's not running or anything. So you're like, oh shit, you better run. But I never felt that with this one. I mean, there's a few times where it's like, yeah, sure, but I don't feel like there was enough suspense in it. The camera was way too close to people's face, especially at the beginning. It felt weird. It might have just been me just thinking about it, because once I saw it, that's all I could see. I felt I wanted more synth, like just creepy music. It definitely had it, but more creepy music. I like the premise of the podcasters. So yeah, we'll move to what I liked. I like the premise of the podcasters. Like you said, to go back to the negative real quick, the dialogue was a little weird and awkward. Could have been just the script, because the actors and actresses seemed pretty good. It was just sometimes where you're like, what? That's not how normal people react. I laughed more than I got creeped out, which was not what I wanted. I mean, it was fine. I thought it was funny. But I ended up laughing more than creeped out.
Well, there was one part where I think it was definitely okay to laugh.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what they were going for.
For sure.
And there's a couple other parts where they tried to do some stuff that should have been funny and was just kind of like, huh? Why is this here?
But yeah, the way they showed him, Michael, his age, it was like seeing your favorite wrestler, at Royal Rumble or something like that. Seeing him come out of retirement. So that felt cool. I did like how they were just like, yeah, remember all that stuff? It's all gone now. And it's just this one and the first one. What would I rate it, though? I got to be somewhere right around about 6 or 7. I think is what I said at the beginning, too. That I agreed with IMDb. It wasn't bad. It was pretty good. And I actually felt how I felt about the Freddy Krueger remake. I think that was 2013? 14?
Something like that.
I felt the same way about that one, where I wasn't scared, but it wasn't bad either. And I really wasn't scared from the first Halloween either, though, too. I'm just that generation where we're desensitized to all of this stuff. So yeah, I mean, if you're definitely a fan of slashers or horror movies, go see it. I didn't get scared. And there's really not much else out to go watch in the theaters right now. You have El Royale and maybe Goosebumps, or that's about it. There really isn't much out.
Yeah, if you're looking for something to watch for Halloween, this will definitely fit the bill, especially if you're a fan of the first one. I think this is definitely worth checking out. Yeah, you should go see it.
But these are just our opinions.
Oh, yeah, of course. If you don't like them, then, I don't know, you've probably clicked off by now. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Just wanted to drop a line and let folks know that this is out and you should check it out. So have some popcorn, check out the movies, and we'll talk to you later on.
And watch the first one first, okay?
Yeah, just do yourself a favor. Watch the first one if you haven't seen it. All right, we'll catch you later on. Thanks. Bye-bye.